This is episode 217 of the Fearless Launching Show. In today's very short episode, well, I say that and then I'm sure I'm going to keep it going longer, but I'm going to share some of the tests I'm running in my business right now. Some of them are new tests. Some of them have been ongoing for a little bit of time. But if you're curious what Anne is up to, stick around and I'm going to let you in on all the goods. I'll see you on the inside. Hi, I'm Anne Samoilov, and I've helped some of the biggest online entrepreneurs and business owners have successful 6- and 7-figure product launches. By working in the trenches offline to produce movies, TV shows, video games, I've discovered so many different ways to launch creative ideas. And the question is, do you have to copy what your guru says in order to have a successful launch? Do you have to use their done-for-you system in order to have success, in order to achieve your goals in business? I say no. This is the Fearless Launching Show featuring myself and an ongoing cast of characters, friends who join me in discussing business, launching, life, and balancing it all and having an amazing time doing it. Let's get into today's episode. Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Fearless Launching Show. If you're new here, well, hello. I am so glad you made it. And if you're hanging around with me again, well, I'm glad you're back. All right, so today's episode is all about the tests we run in our business. I'm going to be sharing with you why testing is so important to growing your business, what it can look like, and also what kind of tests you can run, as well as 5 of the tests. Let me just see here. Yes, 5 of the tests I'm running right now and how you can get involved, why I'm doing them, and any insights that I've already discovered, even though some of them have literally just started. All right, so let's dive in. First of all, why do we test? Okay, so everything in your business is a test. Every email you send, every subject line you write, all those new ideas you're brainstorming, you're thinking about launching, your new products, your launches, your beta testing projects or products, your graphics, whatever it is, it's all a test. And I think that when we get excited about testing things out, we keep ourselves open to the possibilities and we become unafraid of making mistakes, which you might feel from time to time if you get stuck in the mode of, this is how I'm going to build my business. This is what I'm going to do. Instead of just looking at it with curiosity, like a detective, like a scientist. There's no coincidence that I have 2 products with the word lab in them because I'm all about what are the experiments we can run right now? Because if we're not doing that and we're not growing, well, we're leaving, I hate to say we're leaving money on the table, but we're wasting our time, really. I mean, this is why we are having a business. Yes, we want to be stable, but we have to be willing to test. And I think that all of us do that to get wherever we want to get in this business world. And also, there's always ways to improve every single aspect of our business. So we do this so that we stop and avoid getting ourselves into a rut, because that can happen even with successful businesses. One day you wake up and you're like, oh, it's because everything is working great, and that's great. But Gary Vee, he said this, he always loves, the idea of breaking your business. He's always trying to break the business. So not that we want to break our businesses for real, but we have to be willing to test and willing to break things down a little bit. All right. So what kind of tests can you run? Now, there are lots of different tests. There's lots and lots and lots of different micro tests you can do on very specific things, on pages in your website, etc. There's so many different things that we can be testing. But here are the ones in their categories that I actually find most interesting. We've got content-related tests, which can be everything, like I said, from the emails you send, your subject lines, to blog post types, to the content you're posting on social media. It really is the sky's the limit with this one. If there's ever a time when you want to test out different types of content to see how your audience responds, this is a great one to do. It's a great one to do before you decide to do a beta test, before you decide to launch something, is really just test out the messaging, test out the actual topic itself. There's so many different ways to go with content-related tests. Then you have systems-related tests. So these systems tests are, I believe, anything to do with, of course, you want your technology, your people, how you do things, the process you use to do the various things in your business. And like I said, the tools you use, the technology. These are really valuable. And I think 2 or 3 of the ones I'm going to share with you today are actually systems related. Then you have offers type of tests. These are when, perhaps you've done a little bit of content testing and you're like, okay, I'm ready to test this offer. Let's see if anyone wants this. And offers tests can also be done in many different ways, everything from paid traffic to just sending out emails. But your offer is the core thing that you're testing. And then finally, are strategic tests. This is the way in which you do things, not necessarily the process, but let's try to use webinars now on our launches. Let's try a Facebook Live series. Let's try a challenge. Let's open up a free Facebook group. These are specific things that will have multiple layers and steps involved in them, but really require you to kind of go all in. Strategic are ones I really think that when it comes down to it, they're like a project where there's various systems related, content related. So it's kind of like pulling all the other types of tests together. So with that said, oh my goodness, am I really going to keep this a short episode? I cannot believe it. Okay, we'll see. I'm at 5 minutes. I'm very proud of myself. So with that said, here are some tests happening in my business right now. And like I said before, many of these tests, not many, but there's only 5 that I'm sharing with you today. I think 3 of these are systems related, which is funny. Okay, so my first test is I'm testing out some new pieces to my podcast system and refining the process, which hasn't really been perfect ever. Yep, that's right. I go in and out of batching. Sometimes I'll do my interviews on Zoom, sometimes using and recording them on Ecamm. Sometimes the only thing is my part of the process keeps changing. And so we're doing this test so that we can figure out how to batch the content, like massive batching, and also, the way in which the podcast is distributed. Like, for instance, we just hooked up YouTube and we're going to try to make that something that we do on a regular basis. So why are we doing this specific testing and refining? And I think that this is really important. I didn't mention it above, but when you're going to do a test, really think about and define why you're doing the test. So here's why we're doing the test and we're refining the process. Because I am bringing on some sponsors. There's one that I could be sharing with you about today, but I'm not going to just yet. It'll come in the coming episodes. But I'm bringing on some sponsors to the podcast and want them to know we have our ish handled, that we've got our stuff together. And right now, there are just too many little tiny holes in the process. And I wanted to let you know the reason why this came up. I honestly wasn't thinking about it. And I was preparing for a guest who you guys will hear on the podcast very soon. And holy moly, I'm actually talking to him tomorrow. Nathan Latka. Okay, he has written a book and I'm going to be interviewing him about it. Let me just open up my Audible here. And it's called How to Be a Capitalist Without Any Capital, the 4 Rules You Must Break to Get Rich. Now, before you say anything, because the title is like, whoa, okay, there is a really detailed section on how he uses a very clear podcast process. And as I was reading the book, I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to do this. This is ridiculous. This is an easy place in my business that requires no extra work from me. And to to decrease the amount we're spending producing the podcast, but also to increase revenue if we can attract sponsors, right? So that's where this test came from. So I'm going through this process. I actually can't wait to talk to him about it because I want to tell him that that's what happened. I was like, oh, dang, he's got his stuff together and he's coming on this podcast. Oh my gosh, we're doing the interview on Zoom. I'm like, oh, I'm mortified. Anyway, so this is our test that's happening right now. I just sent a preliminary process list to my project manager, and she's going to get back to me and probably be like, yeah, you forgot about 5 things. So that's test number 1. Test number 2, I'm calling this a test, though we've committed to doing it, but whenever you move to a brand new platform of any type, it's a test. When I moved to Kajabi, it was a test. We actually have moved really to a brand new email marketing provider. And with that, there's a lot of learning, a lot of testing, a lot of evaluating, seeing what works, understanding so that we can use the platform to its fullest. We moved because there's so many good things about this platform. And one of my most favorite things is actually the fact that you can share your automations with your students. I think that's amazing. Of course, they're going to have to sign up for ActiveCampaign if they want to use them, but I am really eager to tweak what we've got in there for some of our funnels, really, and being able to share those with fearless launchers. That's going to be amazing. But also, I think that I got into the trap with our past email marketing provider of not really using it to its fullest. So because there's so much more available to me, I feel like that I'm going to actually use in this platform. I'm excited to test all those things out. So, and I will, if you want a link of all the things and what I'm talking about, then I will put it in the show notes for you. All right, so test number 3. Now, this one is kind of a content test. It's kind of a strategic test. It's kind of a strategic test because it includes content, systems, and not really offers per se, but and it's on Facebook Live. This is a brand new content piece we're adding to our schedule on a weekly basis, where I jump on Mondays, probably 12 p.m. or 1 p.m. Pacific, and interview someone about their launches, about launching. And different from the Fearless Launching Show, it's going to be more of a conversation. These are people that I know. So some of them are going to be case studies, and I'm really excited to do this. And since I have like 8 to 10 people already scheduled out, we just did one yesterday, and it was amazing. I'm going to post that link to it in our show notes so you can check out my conversation with Christine Blubaugh. And she is a launch copywriter. So we talked about launch copywriting. So it gives us the ability to have a little bit more of an interactive experience, okay? And I'm not sure how I'm going to do them, but I'm sure that there's going to be a systems related process if we continue to do these. But the real reason why we're doing this test is we're looking for new ways to make content creation easy for Anne. Because I don't know what it is, unless I have someone scheduled, it's really hard for me to deliver. I've made it hard on myself. I don't know what it is. I think that massive batching is definitely going to help. As I mentioned above, we're working on that process, but I really want to be able to supplement some of the normal episodes with these live broadcasts. So we're going to be repurposing like a mofo. You're probably going to see, as we get the systems and tools and the quality dialed in, we'll be adding some of those episodes from Facebook Live over to the podcast. We'll always be uploading them to YouTube and to different platforms and to share them on, LinkedIn and this place and that place. So it's just another way, and probably sending you to them in emails in the future. Even if it happened maybe 6 months ago, you might get an email that reminds you to go see my interview or my conversation rather with Christine. So I'm just excited to do this. And the thing is, if you want to be involved in these, I would just say go over to Facebook now and like my page. And there's probably a way, I will always be posting the pre-scheduled events so that you can get your notification. But go to facebook.com/Anne Samoilov and, like the page and get yourself ready for Mondays, 12 p.m. or 1 p.m. Pacific. We're going to stick to that for the time being. All right. So test number 4. Test number 4. We're on 4 now. New offer. Yes, I have an offer related test coming up. Now, I was going to do this new offer, but it just kind of got a little bit muddy in the way that I was going to do it. It was going to happen in April. We're pushing that out a little bit, but I've got a live event coming up in a few months that I'm planning and putting together all the pieces, and we'll be announcing to you soon. So honestly, I've wanted to do regular events for a while now. I did one last year and it was amazing. I've spoken at several events since then. And it's always felt so difficult. So again, we're looking at a way to make this an easier process. And I think that that's the secret. I need to make it a process so that I'm not doing all the things. I'm not the one putting in all the work on my own. So we're looking at a one-day event here in LA with me to plan out your next launch. So if you're interested in that, the best thing you can do right now, knowing that nothing is available for you to sign up for, is to head over to Facebook, join my free Facebook group, The Launch Lounge, and you'll learn about it first. I am going to put all of these links that I mentioned today in the show notes. So make sure to come back. Go over to the blog and check those out. If you're interested, want to know when that happens, maybe you live in Los Angeles, maybe you want to come to a smaller, more intimate planning, masterminding kind of event. I think it's going to be amazing. And one day, who doesn't have one day that they can actually spend, carve that day out for yourself to really plan what's happening next in your business. All right. The fifth and final test that I want to share about today, it has been in progress for a while. But I think it's important because I think that it was a block for me for quite a while. Thinking that I couldn't do it. It was going to cost me tons of money. I was like, wow, someone's got some money blocks. Anyways, Facebook ads, right? So this means when you do this type of test that requires you to shell out some money, it means you have a little bit more skin in the game. So you're paying attention. You want there to be a return on your investment. So I am trying out different types of ads like video, engagement ads, conversion ads, webinar ads, as a way to build our audience, build the community, and drive traffic to our masterclass. But some of the ads don't lead to anything. It's just to engage with our content on the Facebook page. Maybe get people to come into our Facebook group. So this is what we're doing with that right now. I don't have a ton to share with that, but what I'm hoping is going to be helping me scale one of my products over this next 4 months or so as I tweak things and increase our daily and kind of monthly spend on this. So, not all of my tests are really as safe. The Facebook ads and the new offer, those are a little bit, they push you to the edge because you are getting out in front of people and you are saying, hey, I'm going to do this thing. You want to come? Or, hey, I'm going to spend, X hundreds of dollars on ads and see if I can figure out the right audience, figure out the type of creative that audience wants to see, figure out what kind of, video will engage people and keep people there for longer than 30 seconds or whatever. So those are some of the tests that I'm running right now. And I would love to hear from you. If we go back to the types of tests, what tests can you start running? Content related, systems related, offers related, or strategic, where it's a little bit of all of those. So if you want to write down a couple of those tests and then why you think that test is important, I would love it if you left it in the comments below the podcast notes, or you can just hit reply on one of my emails and let me know what test you're running. I am super curious. I love knowing this stuff. And, it's a great way to reflect on what's happening in your business, what you're doing to push to the edge, push your edges, and get to that next level. All right. Oh my gosh, 18 minutes. We did it. Okay, I hope you have a great rest of your week. If you're still listening, I want to encourage you to check out my latest free masterclass, which is all about a really super simple 4-part process that I've been using and sharing with my students inside Fearless Launching. They are flipping out because it's so simple. And it doesn't require you to do anything crazy. It just makes sure it's a timeless strategy to making sure that you launch. Okay. So head on over to AnnSamoilov.com/masterclass. Sign up for that if you haven't already, or sign up again if you want, and go check out this class. Stay tuned though, because I'm going to be doing another masterclass this month. So go watch that one before it disappears. All right. I will talk to you soon. Have a great rest of your week. And as always, thank you for watching the Fearless Launching Show. I look forward to seeing you guys next week, or hearing you guys, or talking to you guys on Thursdays every single week. Take care.